On tonight's episode of Duck TV News, we'll take a look at what departments at the UO are getting hit the hardest when it comes to the upcoming budget cuts, what's the latest on Oregon's plastic ban, and of course, this weekend's weather forecast. All that and more coming up on Duck TV News. Good evening and welcome to Duck TV News. I'm Carly Ebasuya.
And I'm Taylor Tell. We'll start tonight off with some university news. $11.6 million needs to be cut from the University of Oregon's campus budget. Delaney Young has more on where the cuts are coming from.
It has recently been announced that some of campus's unique installments are going to have to endure a large budget cut. Places like this include the Jordan Schnitzer Museum of Art and the Museum of Natural and Cultural History. One museum goer who feels deeply saddened by the budget cuts is student and art history minor Christian Adalja.
It means so much to me to have a museum with so much international and also local artwork to be available on campus for free to all university students and also for the community members of Eugene.
Provost Jayanth Banavar has announced that next year, each college on campus, such as PLC, will be losing about 1.8% of funding to make up for budget deficits. However, on-campus museums will be facing much more major cuts, such as the Jordan Schnitzer Museum of Art, which stands to lose 15.2% of their funding. The university recognizes that there's a loyal group of community members and students that often attend these museums. The senior administrative officer, Jayanth Banavar, released a statement stating, quote, "The OBF and the museums are an important part of the university. The arts and cultural studies are important to our faculty and key components of a liberal arts education," end quote. Both the museum and administration would like to find a way to keep as much funding as possible. Reporting for Duck TV, I'm Delaney Young.
Thanks, Delaney. After a last-minute turnaround vote on April 23rd, the Oregon House approved the ban on styrofoam containers. Some places in Eugene have already stopped using styrofoam. One of these places is All Tied Up. The local food cart serves their customers while still remaining eco-friendly. They use recyclable sugarcane containers and provide on-site recycling bins. Owner France Plotz says businesses have saved money using styrofoam, but it puts their reputation on the line.
If you have access to something that's better, recyclable, or compostable, I think that's better for somebody's business than saving a little bit of money by using non-recyclable or non-compostable.
The ban will take effect January 2021. If the Senate approves the bill, Oregon will become the first state to ban styrofoam food containers.
Starting September 1st, Walgreens nationwide will no longer sell tobacco products to anyone under the age of 21. This is already implemented in Oregon. In 2018, Governor Brown signed Senate Bill 754, raising the minimum age from 18 to 21. The Riverfront Steam Plant in Eugene is expected to undergo renovation. The Eugene City Council held a meeting to discuss construction plans and new uses for the building. They proposed to open the space to the public with areas for office spaces, frequently rotating micro-restaurants, and events. Mark Mixis, architect for the Riverfront project, says the building will be very important to the Eugene community.
It's unique enough. We're at a time in Eugene where office vacancies are very low. The type of office space people are looking for doesn't exist. And if we can pull together partnerships with the U of O, the tech community, the arts community, I think we'll have an interesting mix here that will attract people and generate income.
The steam plant is expected to be able to host events by 2021. Speaking of renovations, let's toss it on over to sports to have a look at how the Hayward Field renovations are impacting club teams.
Hey, and welcome to the Sports Desk. I'm Paulina Aguilar.
And I'm Rachel Friend. Baseball and softball are looking to turn their seasons around with big road trips, while track and golf get ready for end-of-season tournaments.
We have a lot to cover, so let's get started. The Oregon Ducks baseball team will look to take on the Arizona Wildcats in a 3-game series this weekend in Tucson. The Wildcats are 19-21, but are 15-8 at home. The Ducks are coming off of a big win over Cal on Sunday, snapping a 5-game losing streak where sophomore Donnie DeLuca hit a huge grand slam in the 5th inning, helping to boost the Ducks to the final score of 12-4. The Ducks hope to use this momentum in their series in Arizona. The first game of the series will be on Friday at 6 p.m. A new sports and recreation center is being built across from South Eugene High School. Reporter Sammy Domino has more.
Recently, the Eugene Civic Alliance has broken ground with building the Civic Park, which is located across the street from South Eugene High School. The Civic Park will be a sports and recreation complex for Eugene, providing a place for kids sports, which is a recreational league for youth sports. The director of kids sports, Bev Smith, is excited for the opportunities the facilities will offer for the program.
So Kids Sports will have a 40,000 square foot field house that will have 4 full-size middle school basketball courts that we can convert into volleyball courts and any other indoor activity that we'd like to use it for.
The primary impact of the Civic Park is to give kids sports a bigger and better quality place to play a variety of sports, for they have struggled with finding quality facilities and even struggling with finding a place to play.
There are actually gymnasiums, through no one's fault, that just can't be accessed for any of our game situations. We can practice in them, but we can't really play any games. So really a lot of our kindergarten through 4th grade volleyball and basketball games, most of our population has to travel to the Bethel School District, Prairie Mountain, and Mountain View to play a lot of those games.
The community has been in full support of this new site, for they were able to raise $4.5 million in only a year to fund the purchase of the site. An Oregon law student and neighbor of the construction site, Cal Norris, is also in favor of it, despite only living in Eugene for the past 3 years.
I think that I'm sure that there's frustration about other things that money could be raised for, but I think at the end of the day, if you don't invest in the kids that are here, how do you expect to encourage families to come here or kids to stay here?
Construction started in September 2018, and Phase 1 of the project plans on being finished in March 2020, with a field and a field house. Then they will break ground on Phase 2, which is a full-size turf field with 2,200 person grandstands. Reporting with Duck TV Sports, I'm Sammy Domino.
Thanks, Sammy. To stay up to date with construction progress, visit EugeneCivilAlliance.org.
Oregon softball is heading to Utah this weekend to take on the Utes in a 3-game series. The Ducks are hungry for more wins this season after coming off 3 straight losses to Oregon State in their Civil War series this past weekend. Oregon allowed 16 runs in the first 2 games alone and then added 12 in the 3rd game. The Ducks have dropped from 6th to 7th in the Pac-12 rankings and are hoping for a season turnaround heading into Utah.
The Oregon women's golf team will travel up to Cle Elum, Washington on May 6th, where they will make their 12th straight NCAA regionals appearance. The team will tee off in Washington as the number 7 seed out of a total of 18 teams hoping to land a spot in the NCAA championship. The Ducks have made it to the championship tournament 4 times in the past 10 years. The top 6 teams out of this regional will advance to the championships in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
A busy week is ahead for Oregon track and field with the Portland Twilight, Linfield Open, and Pac-12 Multi-Event Championship all taking place. The Oregon men are the defending champions of the 2018 Pac-12 and are looking to take home another title win this weekend. The Oregon women are looking to reclaim the championship after their devastating loss to USC last year that ended their 9-year winning streak. All the action will take place in Tucson, Arizona. New Hayward Field construction is expected to be completed by 2020 for the Olympic pre-trials, but until then, the UO club teams are feeling the brunt of the change. Owen Seiler has the story.
Construction has taken over the south end of UO's campus, and it's affecting club athletics.
We have not had a field to ourselves since spring term last year. We have to share space, which means we can't have full field scrimmages.
McCoy says it means no preparation for tournaments and games.
It's these rec fields where the women's club soccer team is forced to split time and space with other club sports teams. Behind me is Hayward Field, where construction won't be finished until 2020.
Before construction, practice was held for 2 hours, 3 days a week.
Now we're down to 6 to 8 a.m. 2 times a week.
McCoy says it's affecting how they play and prepare.
The changes in practice times have not allowed our coaches to make it to a lot of practices, so then it all comes back on us as players.
I spoke to head coach Daniel Carr, where he said, quote, "Field availability has been a major problem for the success of our team. Only having half a field has made game-like training unrealistic since we cannot work on specific things that happen in a game.
Our schedule has had to change every single term and even between weeks in the term, so nothing has been consistent this year.
It's affecting them so much, McCoy says the team's not playing to its potential.
Still went to nationals, but we did not advance as far as we did last year, and our other annual tournaments have not gone as planned.
Owen Seiler, Duck TV Sports.
Thanks, Owen. The club soccer team will once again be on the rec fields next year and is anticipating more change.
That's all we have for this week. Thanks for tuning in for all things Oregon athletics.
Be sure to follow Duck TV Sports on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to stay up to date throughout the week. Back to Carly and Taylor at the news desk.
Thanks, guys. The Oregon Department of Human Services is being sued after a lawsuit claims children in the foster care system are being mistreated. Now, the lawsuit has been filed on behalf of 10 children in the system, but DHS has commented and says they take care of their foster children seriously, but a court date has not been set yet. Hey, Manuela, what's this weekend's forecast looking like?
Well, Carly, the weather in Eugene is starting to look and feel a lot like summer. If you haven't made your way to your local pool, now is the time to do it, because Eugene is starting to look and increase temperatures around 70s both Saturday and Sunday. As the evening approaches, the clouds will roll in. Go out and enjoy the sunshine, ducks. For those of you heading to the City of Roses, you can expect generally dry weekend, looking at consistent weather both Friday and Saturday with highs in the 70s and partly cloudy skies at night. But don't let that stop you from keeping Portland weird, because on Sunday we're looking at a high of 76. For all you Bay Area ducks, if you are planning on going home for an early day Mother's Weekend, think twice. Although Carl the Fog will not make an appearance, temperatures all throughout the weekend will be in the 60-degree range with some drizzle. As for my weather advice, stay in Eugene.
Thanks, Manuela. Looks like a perfect weekend for gardening in Eugene. For all you gardening enthusiasts, there's a free club where locals meet to share tips and tricks. Hadley McKinnon has more.
Eugene community member Jason Plato is the founder of Let Us Grow Together, a gathering at Peterson Barn Garden in Bethel. Plato started the organization in hopes of spreading awareness of safe and natural gardening techniques in the local community. He hopes these small efforts will improve the local environment and combat climate change.
This club can be a solution or an attempt at a solution towards these big political issues as well as social issues.
Right here is where community members meet every Wednesday to share tips on natural gardening for edible plants, like these blueberries. Twice a month, the club holds workshops and invites community members to share their knowledge on relevant topics. James Hershiser, who studies landscape design, joined this week's meeting to share his expertise to the group about the effects of pollination. He said groups like these are important to educate the community.
I'd love to see this sort of thing copied in other areas too. It's not just that a lot of people have it wrong, people just don't know. They're just not really aware.
The club meets every Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. over the summer, doesn't cost anything, and is open to people of all ages and skill levels.
Thanks, Hadley. To learn more about the Let Us Grow Together Garden Club or Plato, visit his website at plato.com. That's a wrap on Duck TV News. Thank you for tuning in.
Be sure to check us out on social media at Duck TV News, and have a wonderful night, Eugene.